I'd like to call this meeting of the House Insurance Committee to order. Alia, please take the roll.
Chair Warren,
Here.
Abney,
Designation.
Brennan,
Here.
Cephas,
Designation.
Haddock,
Here.
Kozarowski, Malagari,
Here.
Mursky,
Here.
Mullins,
Here.
Monroe,
Designation.
Parker,
Designation.
Sappy,
Designation.
Scott,
Designation.
Venkat. Chair Pickett,
Sorry, here.
Bernstein,
Designation.
Flood,
Designation.
Fritz, Griner,
Here.
Kutz,
Designation.
Ledbetter,
Designation.
Nelson,
Designation.
Olsummer,
Designation.
Schmidt,
Designation.
Watro,
Designation.
Zimmerman. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Alia. I will call up Senate Bill 88 as our first order of business. Alan or Joe, would you please just explain the bill?
Senate Bill 88 amends the insurance company law to require health insurers to provide coverage for multiple supplemental or diagnostic breast exams without cost sharing. The bill also cleans up language in existing law on mammograms and supplemental screenings. The committee previously voted unanimously on House Bill 433, and this is substantively a companion bill to that policy. Moving forward, insureds who have or potentially have breast cancer will be able to receive mammograms, ultrasounds, and supplemental and diagnostic screenings without cost sharing.
And the prime sponsor of the bill, my Bucks County colleague, Senator Frank Ferry, is here to speak on the bill and dressed for the occasion. Thank you for joining us, Senator.
Thank you, Chairs. It's good to be before you today, especially with such a monumentous piece of legislation. Appreciate working with your colleague, Gina Curry, on this issue. As Alan explained, this builds on Act 1, which was landmark legislation that we passed and was signed into law 2 years ago. The two significant differences and where it builds on is Act 1 covers high-risk individuals. This actually will expand that to average risk individuals. And let me give you an example on why that is so important. As many of you may have known, and certainly both chairs know, my wife, who used to work in this building with us, was diagnosed with breast cancer in January of last year at the age of 40. No family history, no genetic markers, right? She truly was not in that high-risk category. She found it through the lump through a self-exam. Thankfully, got a mammogram, and we were off to our 18-month journey, which we're still trying to get completed, but we're making good progress. We're blessed, though, because we have good health insurance, and we have access to great medical professionals in southeastern PA. Not every woman is in the same position that we are in. Senate Bill 88 actually helps close that gap. As we've been on this journey, we have found so many women that are in their 30s and 40s that really exhibit no risk, right? No family history, they don't have the genetic markers and all, but ultimately they're diagnosed with breast cancer. We want to ensure that they have access to diagnostic testing. One of the hiccups we have found with Act 1 since its enactment is high-risk women may be able to get the initial diagnostic screening, which may show something, but it may be inconclusive as to whether it's cancerous or not, and the follow-up diagnostics will not be covered. So that individual has to pay for that. I can't imagine, I know the ups and downs we've been through. I can't imagine being that woman and being those family members going through that and not having access to that diagnostic care. So this ensures that the follow-up diagnostic cares will be covered at no cost to those individuals and actually expands to women of average risk. So, we want to continue to be a leader in this issue. 26 other states have followed Act 1. Some have superseded us in terms of having coverage like we're talking about here today, and I think we need to bring Pennsylvania in line with it. So I appreciate an affirmative vote today, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Does anyone have questions or comments for the senator regarding the senator's testimony? Senator Mursky.
Thank you, Senator, for bringing this legislation up. I did have a question, and I don't know if you know the answer to this, but in terms of the actuarial numbers, is the in putting these screenings in, will it actually be a cost savings on the insurance side as people early diagnosis of breast cancer versus not catching it and then having to do more aggressive treatments and more chemo and radiation and surgeries and that type of thing? Do you know if there's, from the states that have done this, if there's any cost savings or it's neutral? Or, I mean, obviously you can't put a price on a life, so I don't want it to sound like that, but I was just curious if you know anything about that.
Yeah, I don't have any financial or actuarial answers to that, but to the point you're making, it seems common sense that early diagnosis may result in just a lumpectomy. Sorry to become a bit of an expert in this, but just a lumpectomy instead of a full mastectomy or a double mastectomy. It can mean less chemo or just chemo instead of chemo and radiation. So I would surmise that early diagnosis is going to lead to hopefully what is a shorter treatment regimen to cure that individual. So in my wife's case, it got out of the breast and was actually in the lymph nodes. Thankfully, it didn't get beyond that, but it was a little more substantial what she ultimately had to go through. And it was still a fairly early diagnosis. She was stage 2A. But, I don't have any specifics to back that up, but I agree with your common sense approach that anything diagnosed early and treated earlier, you have a better chance of success in saving that person's life, and hopefully they would require less treatment.
Chair Pick, any questions? Representative Malgari?
Thank you, Chairman. I just want to thank Senator Ferry for bringing this forward and also being a champion for this and for sharing your personal story. A lot of us were with you through that time as well and understood it was a very tough time. So I want to thank you for bringing this forward. I want to thank you for championing this, and also to all of those women that we know that are in our lives and in our neighborhoods and in our communities that are suffering from breast cancer, or survivors of breast cancer. This is a good vote for them. So proud to vote for it. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, and the Breast Cancer Coalition is behind me, and the bill is supported by Susan G. Komen, the Breast Cancer Coalition, the Radiology Association, the Hospital Association, the Medical Society. I feel like I'm missing somebody, but we have a tremendous amount of stakeholder groups that are supportive of what we're trying to do here today. And, my wife and I have kind of made it our mission to drive awareness on this because, a 40-year-old mom in good health, mom of 2 young children, we never would have thought we would end up where we are, but we'll be okay. But we want to make sure other people have the opportunity to be okay as well.
Thank you. That appears to be all the questions.
American Cancer Society, that was the one that was not coming off the top of my head. It's also a supporter of this.
Got it. Thank you. So the question is, will the committee report the bill? Any comments, Madam Chair?
No comments, Mr. Chairman, but we too are very much on board with this, and all of the Republicans will be affirmative on this.
Great, thank you. Any discussion of the bill among any of the members? Okay, thank you. Are there any negative votes on the bill? Seeing none, Senate Bill 88 is reported from the House Insurance Committee unanimously. Thank you, Senator, and congratulations.
Thank you, everyone.
So the bill is reported unanimously, and there being no further business, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.